Our modern world has thousands of problems. Now, one doctor offers 4 formulas that rethinks how we do therapy, how we do medication, and how we see the world. Join us if you want to learn the science of human emotions. You're listening to the 4 Blocks Podcast.
Yes, let's talk about a current event which relates so much to a lot of things. So the black hole, which was probably one of the greatest scientific discoveries, that was indicated by Einstein's equation some 100 years ago, that he actually predicted the black hole. And then, as you know, if you've been following the news the last couple of days, that there were some 8 radio telescopes that had the collective vision, we'll put vision in quotes because they're radio telescopes, of the size of the Earth to look out into the universe to try and photograph for the first time Einstein's prediction 100 years ago. And they were successful. But it took some 200 scientists around the globe, to do this. Then all of a sudden, we had this young woman, Dr. Katie Bauman, who had the picture that went around the internet. Her hands were to her mouth, and a shot of glee. If you'd have taken a shot of me, I would have probably been doing the same thing. We all felt that, well, most of us, or a lot of us, felt that joy about this tremendous discovery. But as we tend to do as human beings, we want a discoverer. We want one person to be the discoverer. And so immediately they gave her the one, or the major credit for this discovery. And it went around the internet and was on the news and so forth and so on. But even, good credit to Katie was she said this took a combined effort. It was a coordinated effort that resonated around it, and it was in harmony of all these 200 scientists working for years and so on. So I want to equate that with what we humans tend to do. And I want to do that with the concept of God. As you know, that we will not dodge anything on the 4 blocks, and we will deal with all type of subjects. But so I want to equate the black hole with the God of Abraham, of Muhammad, and of the Christian belief, right? So what we have is a belief in a personal God, one creator. I can commute that to Katie. So we want to find one person and give them the credit for all that existed, which is a marvel of human nature. That's what we want to do. So in the monotheistic religions of Christianity, Judaism, and the Muslim faiths, we have the one God that created everything, right? And that we go back to Einstein, since we're talking about his equations. Einstein did not believe in a personal God. He did not believe a God that intervened in human affairs, that answered our prayers, or that barked out orders, and that if you followed these orders, that he would reward you with heaven, whatever you describe that. He rewarded you with heaven or punished you in hell for all eternity. Einstein did not believe in that God, but the God he said he believed in was the God of Spinoza. Now, what's the God of Spinoza? Spinoza was a Jewish Dutch philosopher of Portuguese origin that lived somewhere, I think it was 1622 to 1677. And the God of Spinoza was harmony. that there's a harmony that has order, beauty, and truth throughout the universe. That's the belief. That's the God Einstein believed in. And in rational theory and Zen, that is the God we believe in. I eliminate the word God because it's caused so much confusion. But we are part of that harmony, that order, that beauty, that truth. And it's a vibrant, living truth. And we're part of that. Now, in the rush to give the young woman, who I think did tremendous work, I mean, she was 23 years old. She worked on it for 6 years, so she started working on this project when she was 17. That, in effect, is tremendous. But instead of shining the light on the total, and giving that total, which she even talked about, the credit, in other words, the harmony of the total, we look for one. We want one creator because we want to put her on that pedestal, just like we put the God, the personal God, on a pedestal instead of looking at the total universe in harmony. And they said things like, well, we wanted that because of the young women needed a scientist there that they showed them that they could become and that they can look and get value within themselves. You don't need to have that value within yourself. You can have the value as part of the totality. We vibrate with that totality. And that's really what you would require. And then you don't have to identify with any group.
I'm sorry that they had to take place because it sounds like now we're getting political correctness now into science.
Of course.
Well, to your point about Spinoza's God as well, I mean, Spinoza's God agrees with the New Testament God. 1 John 4:8 says God is love. It defines God as the love energy. I would define love energy as harmony. Love brings together, and the opposite of that disconnects.
But we call the harmony love. Well, yes, you could say that.
And that gets a convoluted term in this society, too, of course.
But then again, we've got a word that we put
tons of connotations
on harmony that exists throughout the universe. You could call that love, but then again, you could call it God. Well, then we fight over which God is the right God, and that's why we've been killing.
Could be spontaneous.
That's why we've been killing each other for thousands of years. Is which personal God is true?
And this
so
personified patriarchal God is just a made up.
Yeah. And to go a little further, the problem is language. We're substituting, even if I say harmony, which is a way of describing the universe vibrating as a total, that everything is energy. If it's human beings or a dog, a cat, a rock or a flower or a light post.
That's why I like the word spontaneous, because everything is just spontaneous.
Yes.
It's just happening.
And it's
the
the energy of the totality. It's not individual things. So the more words, I think it's just as complicated as if you call it love, but we call it something because we're trying to communicate. But even the harmony isn't what it is. Dogen, which is a great Zen master many thousands of years ago, called it, that it's just it. But then we want to describe what it is. And then we say harmony, that's Spinoza. And Einstein, that was his God, was this harmony throughout the universe. But then we're not satisfied, just like the example of the scientists. We're not satisfied with a team that coordinates, tremendous coordination, and we don't want to give the credit to the whole. We want to pick someone out, an individual, to cherish and thank. And that's what I'm saying is really the human nature, and it's very interesting in this process.